Hey, guys, it's Old Man G here, back again with another Red Devil Studio Live podcast. It's been quite some time, actually. Just busy, manic, crazy, break, whatever. But we're back. We've got a lot to talk about. The expert panel of guys who are going to be involved in the next 2 hours or so, hopefully just in 2 hours. We're going to be talking about Van Dijk and the injury. We're going to be talking about Spurs and Chelsea. We're going to give you our Champions League preview with Zlatan, Real Madrid. There's a lot to talk about because a lot of stuff happened over the weekend. But if you're new to the channel, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter and on X, and smash that notification button for the latest Manchester United news. So let's just get straight into it, basically. Van Dijk. Sean, who I know is obviously a Liverpool fan. Everyone obviously saw what was a horrific and reckless challenge by Jordan Pickford and Van Dijk. I'm surprised that we'll probably talk about it, but I'm surprised that he actually he didn't get a card, let alone being sent off. But it's been confirmed that Van Dijk obviously suffered an ACL injury and he's going to be out for quite some time. As a Liverpool fan, Sean, what are your thoughts on this whole thing? You know, the injury, the even the results. Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So, I grew up like watching football in the 90s. So, like, I think sometimes nowadays that challenges are a little bit easily like carded or even just brought to a foul. But that was just a ridiculous challenge, really. I mean, it was like in a scissoring motion, and for a goalkeeper to do that as well, the referee he's got to use his experience to like go, well, this guy obviously doesn't tackle a lot, and that's not a good challenge, and and he's got to go. So I think,
why do you think, just in substance, why do you think that he didn't go? Why did you think that?
I think that the referee just lost his bottle. Like, I just don't think that he wanted to send the Everton keeper off, because I mean, you know what it's like when you send the keeper off. It's a massive detriment to the team. So I don't know. I think he just lost his bottle because instantly he had a lot of voices inside his ear. I mean, this is where VAR should come in and just like give him a hand a little bit and just like go, look, listen, that's a red. Just send him off. And just kind of share the responsibility a little bit. That's what VAR is supposed to do. It's supposed to take the pressure. But I don't even know what's happened to VAR this season. It's like they're trying to kind of phase it out a little bit. I think it's just a massive shame. I think it's just it's used in rugby. It's used in so many other sports where it's just really, really valuable and handy. And and all the other people out there that are like saying it's ruining the game and stuff like that. It's just like, stop being a puss cake. It helps take the pressure off the referee to a certain extent to allow him to be more confident, knowing that he's got a few other people, watching it back and making a proper decision if he can't make one, So like I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. It was a horrible challenge. I think the referee bottled it and didn't send him off. He did end up obviously sending off Richarlison.
We get that.
Yeah. So like, you could tell that he sent him off, but he didn't want to send the keeper off because like sending a keeper off is just a huge detriment to the team, and it was a Merseyside derby. I mean, I think if the Anfield crowd was there, he probably would have sent him off. Because you would have had the cop on his back. But yeah, I don't know. Like and on the other hand, like Virgil van Dijk being out, obviously I was saying to Josh earlier, he's a massive who replaces him. There's no replacement for him. I can't really make any excuses. I don't really know what to think. I think Klopp is going to have to change the whole system at the back. I think they're going to have to. I was aligning it with Arsenal, maybe like playing with 3 centre backs. and kind of shoring it up a little bit. I think that's probably what he'd have to do to cover for Virgil. So, but we'll see what he does. But Virgil van Dijk, it's a shame to not be able to watch him this season because it sounds like it's going to be a really, really long injury. He's going to be out for a long while. So it's just going to be a shame to not watch one of the best players in the world for an entire season. And it's an absolute tragedy that it went unpunished. It was just disgusting. So yeah, I don't know. I have no defense in terms of what to say about Liverpool going forward. Apart from that, it's down to Klopp now. He's an intelligent manager. He's going to have to figure something else out to cover for him, which is nearly impossible. So yeah, it's a tough one. And then Liverpool's season's obviously going to be affected by. I think that was your last question, your last point.
That was my point. Yeah, like, do you think that because a lot of people obviously with what Liverpool did in the summer transfer window, etc. A lot of people would have said that, right, okay, Liverpool can defend their title, and now obviously that Virgil has gone. Is it a fair reaction to say that Liverpool's title challenges or be able to defend the Premier League has basically vanished because Van Dijk is out, or is that too reactionary?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's no one really that's doing extremely well. You can't like point to a team in the Premier League and just like go, "Oh wow, look at those guys." Man City have had fair results. Liverpool, poor to fair. There's no like real standout team. Chelsea exactly the same, fair results. It's kind of no one's really kicked off yet. And it's just dependent on the team how they're going to react to that and how they're going to respond to it. And like I say, I think this is going to be a Klopp thing. It's not really going to be a team thing. It's something that Klopp's going to have to manage well. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like going forward. But yeah, it's massively affected us. I think it's going to affect the whole team, mentally as well. It's going to be a strange season anyway. Let's face it, it's going to be odd playing the whole season and all the stadiums are going to be empty. So yeah, I think it has definitely affected us. I don't think anybody in the Premier League is doing particularly well, in terms of like all the challenges like Chelsea or Man City, Liverpool. I don't think we've had any of us had a particular great start to the season. So I think it's a little bit too early to say that, Liverpool's title hopes are over.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you from the Liverpool perspective point of view, Sean. I appreciate that. So I guess just opening up to guys, because I think rather than going individually through to everybody, maybe if it's a specific thing, I'll address someone just because we just got so much to talk about. I'll just sort of open it up and just the first person, have their say or speak or whatever. Or BD call, yeah. If you want to come on BD call, just come on. It's fine. What is everyone else's thoughts on the Van Dijk injury? I think the two questions I would say to the panel, two questions is why do you think it wasn't punished? And then the second question is, do you think that this means that Liverpool are not title favourites anymore? So that's open to the panel. What do you guys think? Don't be shy.
What was the question, Red Devil?
Yeah, can you go for it? Yes, sir.
What was the question? Or you just want to just talk about this injury?
Okay.
I didn't get the question. What was it again?
The question. Oh, sorry. The question is basically it's a two-part question. The question is like why do you guys think nothing was done about it? So, i.e., red card, etc. And then the second question is, do you think that this derails Liverpool's title challenge? Are they no longer title favourites? Those are two questions.
This is something that I've probably never shared to anyone on the panel, but I did referee at the youth level, And I did study the law of the games, and I have been a referee at the youth level. So looking from the referee standpoint, multiple things I feel like went into the mind in terms of like making this decision. The first thing is the offside, which everybody pretty much agrees that pretty much took the attention of this incident was all focused on the offside. That's what the referees kind of visually panned on. The second thing is one something I've realized about referees, especially in the Premier League, is that there's a sense of protectiveness from goalkeepers. The amount of things that the referees allow the goalkeepers to get away with is absolutely ridiculous. So if you look closely at this challenge, the way and this is what I believe this is the way they were looking at this incident. They saw that Pickford came out and was trying to close down the ball, and he was out of control, and there was a horrific tackle. But in their view, they said this is basically Pickford kind of like making himself bigger, trying to close down the ball, and it was a horrible tackle. But then in the way they saw it was just that Pickford was coming out and trying to prevent, Van Dijk from scoring or kicking the ball or whatever. So he made his body open, but obviously he lost control, and it was a horrific tackle from everyone's standpoint. But then in the referee's mind, they're like, "Oh, this is just a simple tackle. It's not as bad." And that's what and that's what I believe they thought, and they didn't even care to look at it. They didn't even think it was even a ridiculous tackle. They just assumed it was that was fine, and what they mostly focused on was the offside, which is absolutely everyone will agree, which is absolutely the wrong thing they did. They made a mistake, and I feel like they knew they made a mistake because the Richarlison sending off, it didn't have nothing to do with the initial when the whistle was blown. There was a different incident. I think it was Mane and Yorimina, and then the referee came back, and then Richarlison almost horrific tackle on Thiago. It was a separate incident, but then right away the referee was even hesitant to give him the red card. It didn't even look at it because right away these play in the referee's mind that once they made a mistake, once they screw up, they're like, if we get another chance, we're not going to screw up. And they right away he didn't even need VAR. He sent them off. And let's be fair to the referee. That's Michael. Is it Michael Oliver? The referee.
Oliver, yeah.
Let's be fair to him. He didn't see it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He didn't see it. He could not have given that red card. All the onus was on the VAR.
Yeah, that. So I sense up just. I think that's a very important point that's been lost by a lot of us. Is that you're absolutely right. Michael Oliver did not see the incident, and so obviously Michael Oliver cannot just give a red card for an incident he didn't see. So it is obviously up to the VAR officials back in the and this is what I would say for whatever people disagree with VAR is that the reality therefore is that if there was no VAR, Pickford still would not have been sent off. You kind of see what for the anti-VAR sorts of situation that we're talking about, we just got to bear in mind that you've got to also look at what it would be like without VAR. And the reality is without VAR, Pickford would have been sent off. Because the referee didn't see it. And the referee can't skip red card and see it. But go on, Yassir, go on.
But my problem with VAR is that they don't use it enough. That's a problem with VAR. It's like if you have the technology, look at it, look at everything. Obviously they're looking at the offside, and that took forever. So if you're gonna spend all that time looking at offside, then at least spend some time to look at this tackle. Make sure did we miss something in this tackle? Then obviously because I'm 110% I'm convinced they didn't even look at this tackle. They didn't even look at it. They didn't even give it a second thought. They looked at it real time. The referee didn't see anything wrong with it, so they didn't even. It was not even questionable. Like they didn't even look at it. So that's my view on this incident. And I feel like I don't like the abuse that Pickford is getting from the incident, because I feel like when I looked at it, there's this Pickford. He was on a bad run of form, and he panicked. That's the reality of it. He panicked. He was trying to close down Van Dijk. He lost control of himself, and it was a bad tackle. And that's what happened. And then also, I feel like the FA, I don't know if they stopped doing this because VAR has been introduced to it. The FA usually will go back if the referee missed a red card. They will literally give the person a 3-match ban.
It's because of the yes, I think you're right. It's because of VAR because the reason why they did that is because of the incident is checked. So the incident was checked by the VAR officials, and they deemed that it was not a sending off offence. So because they made that initial judgment, they're not going to now override that initial judgment by the referees. So that's not going to. However, had no one saw it at all, then that's what it was.
I just feel like if the consensus is that the referees didn't look at this tackle and they obviously missed it, then you might as well, as a FA body, take it upon you to correct it. Because what use are you, to be honest? Like, what are you there for? That's my argument. Because, like, I don't agree. Okay, make sure to pretty much ban Pickford from playing as long as Virgil van Dijk's playing. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
But this was obviously a red card, and it was a horrendous tackle. I feel like it should not be going unpunished, because if this was any, like, come on, I'm a United fan, so I hate Liverpool, but for God's sakes, this is one of the best defenders in our league, and for him to not be playing and there's no punishment for that, I feel like is actually this is damaging to the game. We should not go unpunished, in my opinion.
Fair enough, Yassir. Thank you for your 2 cents. Obviously, with Bob's Red Devils comments, who might be coming shortly. League title White was according to rules. If offside cancels out, okay. I know these tackles happen. However, got to ask, why does Pickford always get into these kind of situations? Yeah, it's a confidence issue, it seems. And I think Yassir made a good point. I think that this is the problem sometimes, that when you banter players all the time, and then they want to sort of, because it's clear, I think everyone can agree that it wasn't intentional, but obviously it was reckless. Does anyone have just any quick final thoughts on, because I think we've got a lot of topics to talk about, but does anyone have any sorts of final thoughts on
sorry, I was out there for a little while, but the last thing I caught on was that the last fellow that was speaking was a referee, or he represented as a referee at youth level. Yeah, that's cool. Like I say, I don't know whether you guys spoke about VAR as well, but that's that's why if the referee is thrown off by an offside decision and didn't see what Pickford did to Virgil van Dijk, which really that's where his attention should have been. Then that's where VAR comes. Someone sitting in a room somewhere, needs to be awake to the fact to let the referee know that something really horrible just happened on the pitch, and he needs to go.
I also believe that people just remember this, that referees don't like VAR. Let's be honest, guys. They don't. So it
doesn't matter. You got to do your job.
But then my point is, we also have to remember that referees, because VAR exposes, especially in England, exposes how terrible the referees are, and for them, the fact that they'll even have to use VAR, they don't want to use VAR. So in my opinion, I feel like, especially in England, there's a sense of, let's try to use VAR as little as possible, and We like, especially with, okay, we looked at the offside. Do we want to give time to look at this tackle? And then the referee's like, you know what? It's offside. Let's call it offside. I feel like that's exactly what happened. And this basically what I'm just trying to say is the referees and the VAR are terrible in England. That's a fact. So.
Okay. Also, two things. At B, if you can hear me at B, if you could just turn your camera off and I'll bring you in, okay? If you can hear me at B, just turn your camera off and I'll bring you in a second. And thank you for joining us, Abdullahi, as well. What's next? Oh, yeah, sorry, yes. Does anyone have any other thoughts just regarding this Van Dijk injury before we quickly move on? Because we do have a lot to speak about. And no one else? Oh, okay. Let's move on then. Okay.
Let me just say a little bit of Van Dijk.
Okay, Abdullahi. Okay, Abdullahi. Yeah,
I think the problem is Liverpool fans. I'm hearing Liverpool saying they have Fabinho, they have Matip, they have Gomez. But I think without Van Dijk in that team, they're gonna struggle a lot. And then
Okay.
I was hearing they were talking about the referee stuff, and I completely understand the referee. But we need to understand something. The tackles Pickford made on Van Dijk, I think the problem with the EPL referees, it's not the EPL, it's the interpretation of how it's being used. That is my worry with it. It's not the EPL, because if you look at the way the EPL has been modified this year, like the VL has been modified this year. There's been a lot of talk about it. I think it's the interpretation of how it's been used that has been the issues of this EPL. That for me, that has been a red card, and Pickford should have been sent off. They did it intentional. I don't think it's intentional. It was only going for the ball. So then it caught Van Dijk, which is understandable in football. But I think the intentional one was the Richarlison on them. Thiago.
That's obvious.
That should be a 5-match ban. A 5-match. That's a leg breaking injury.
It is a leg breaking.
That's a leg breaking. That should be like a 5-match ban. But I think the Pickford on Van Dijk one is just a normal football. Like, it's not intentional. It was only going for the ball. So we can understand that because it was only going for the ball. It wasn't intentional. But I think Liverpool fans gonna miss Van Dijk a lot. The issue is they have January transfer coming up next. Are they gonna spend big on them? Upamecano, Kalidou Koulibaly? I doubt it. I'm not really sure about it. Maybe they can go with either Fabinho, Matip, or Gomez. That could go with it for the rest of the season. Possible, but that doesn't mean they won't consider. They will surely consider on area those. They will concede goals. It now depends on Klopp himself and the board, because we know Liverpool very well. They don't like spending money. They don't.
You know, one thing I really get very annoyed about and really, really pisses me off is that if the VAR is unsure, just tell Michael Oliver to walk up to the run or jog, whatever, walk up to the monitor and look at it himself.
They've been doing it this year. But I think when the ball was played to Van Dijk, it was off. Van Dijk was off. That was
but Van Dijk was getting treatment. You had time. You had all the time in the world. All you had to be like, hey, look, we're not sure about this tackle. Might have to look at it. Because I feel like we also forget the reason why they looked at this offside was because I feel like the referee would call the penalty. Didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, but it's about accountability though, guys, isn't it? It's accountability. The referee doesn't want to take control because if he doesn't call it, VAR should call it. If VAR doesn't call it, then the blame moves from him.
For me,
do you understand?
For me, I think if it was it was a foul, if it wasn't an offside, it was just a normal foul.
There is an argument to be had that in the new VR rulings, because one of the things that we know is that linesmen are basically told that they shouldn't raise their flags to allow the play to go on before so it could be checked by a VAR, etc. So there is an argument to be had that if that wasn't the case under previous rules, the linesman would have obviously raised his flag up to rule out offside, and then obviously Pickford would not have then gone to Van Dijk because the offside decision would have stood. None of them would have gone on the ball, and they wouldn't have been in a situation, So, it's. I think there was an issue. There was an incident again with where this isn't consistent with Aubameyang against Manchester City, where in that game,
why is there linesman now?
Yeah, it's
case.
useless. The rise is useless.
No,
He's
that's
on the line. He can
that's
see it.
yeah, no, that's a fair point to make, to be honest, because if you're going to like have linesmen, I have the lines. I think the issue here is that why they did it is because they didn't want to stop genuine goals. Because obviously, if a linesman raises their flag, then the attacking player might stop. So I think and that might score legitimate goals. So, for example, in the case of Aubameyang Manchester City, had the linesman raised his flag, Aubameyang probably would have stopped. And if you actually look at the video, Aubameyang's actually offside. If he put the goal away, it would have been a goal, and Vieira would have given it. So that's the issue. Personally, for me, the easiest situation for that is just say literally the linesman raised his flag, but you played to the whistle. Okay, so like forget about the linesman. The linesman can raise his flag, but the attacking player plays the whistle, and then VAR can check it. And so that way, But like I said, what's the point of linesman now? It's difficult.
Let me ask everyone, the whole panel, a quick question. If it was ruled onside, what would have been the call? Because I could guarantee you this: the call if Van Dijk was onside would have been a penalty to Liverpool and a red card to Pickford.
Yeah, 100%. However, unfortunately, with the rules, the VAR decision comes first, so that means it actually voids the tackle. However, common sense should be common, and unfortunately, it was a reckless tackle. Any player does that anywhere in the park, it's a foul. It's a red card. However, with the rules, because the offside was given, that means the tackle's voided. It doesn't. Obviously, it happens, but within the rules of the game, it doesn't. It's voided. It doesn't count. So, for me personally, obviously I'm a big Man United fan. Everyone here. So for me, it's alarming. But as a football fan, you have to ask yourself, what is Pickford even doing out there in the first place?
That's number one. You
do have to ask yourself that, and me personally, I mean, I'm not bothered if he's injured because it means he doesn't play. But but for me, it's a foul. Obviously, it's a foul, guys. However, the rules mean that it gets voided. So
you can't do that though. You can't just every single time it's an offside, you just go and kick someone in the nuts.
Oh, 100%.
That's what I mean. It's just a ridiculous rule. Like if that's how they're gonna play it, then it's gonna be absolute chaos.
But I think the one thing we need to look at is that if it stays consistent.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a Man United fan. If this was Marcus Rashford that this happened to, oh my God, I would probably be on a plane right now, showing up to the Michael Alvarez house right now. But I understand how Liverpool fans feel because, man, oh my God.
Oh my God. Hi lads, I literally just arrived here.
Hey, Acting Joe, man, thank you for joining. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, no problem at all. To be honest, I think anyone whinging are just being like children because this happens in football constantly. Like Jamie Carragher came out with something brilliantly, I think tonight or last night, and just said that he's almost had his career ended by another player, and he almost ended other people's career. It's just part of the game. It's just stuff that happens. I think that fans just take things to person, and now because we're in the media age where you can just share your thoughts and you control, because I think half of the shit that is being said is just people just looking for reaction on Twitter, and the vigils and people just selling their souls and being embarrassing. Really, it's really look back to 1997. Roy Keane got his cruciate done in by Alfie Haaland. All right, he was out. He was out for 7 months, and then afterwards he just vowed revenge on Alfie Haaland. Why can't I go back to that? Why can't we just have a showdown in 9 months' time where we Pickford in one corner, Van Dijk in the other, and just let them go at it for a couple of rounds?
That was the case.
I'm just saying we can sell a paper. I pay €18 for that, or £15.
No, bro. I mean, I think there is, and we'll move on. But I think you are right in the sense that but this tackle, but there's clearly been other tackles, other shouting tackle. I mean, I remember the Luke Shaw one. I think a while back that had. I think that was against. PSV. Oh, he was on the Van Gaal. PSV, yeah, exactly. Which was awful, So obviously,
yellow. Oh my God.
Obviously the Gomez one, you know what I mean? You know, so
Red Devil.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
I wanted to add something to the conversation because the guy that says he's a referee, maybe he missed out something else. Once it's violent conduct, you can actually penalize the player even if it's offside, because I watched it even on BBC and Sky today, and it's one of the head of the governing body. Saying it. He could have been penalized after. I guess the referee just caught up in the middle, or he actually didn't know. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't agree with what you said, but in that accent, I agree with you completely.
It's not a problem if you don't agree with me. I'm just telling you facts from what they actually state on Sky and BBC, and those are the personnel that makes the rules.
It's the same thing if the rules are outside, but like you punch someone on the field, that's still a red card, man. Come on, you know.
Like Cantona got sent off, obviously around 95, 96 for like absolutely nearly taking the knee off of Gareth Southgate, but Gareth Southgate jumped out of the way, so Cantona just got the air, but Cantona was still sent off. No, I was only messing before. I completely agree with you. Like Pickford should have been penalised. I'm delighted he wasn't, because I don't want Liverpool to win. I don't have any advantage whatsoever, so I'm glad it worked out the way it did as like a Man United fan. But like as a football fan, 100%. Pickford should have been sent off. He should have got a penalty, and that's just it, really. But these things happen. Do you know? These things happen.
Right. Let's move on. So we've got quite a lot to talk about. So I'll quickly move on to what I think was. I mean, whatever anyone says, the weekend of football that we had was absolutely brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. The football was just absolutely. And one of the things that I saw this weekend was this guy. And Spurs. And my goodness, man, that just Spurs doing a Spurs. I don't get how. And the thing is, there's a lot of United fans here, but there were a lot of people DMing, Twitter me saying when Jose Mourinho was 3-0 up. And they're like, listen, guys, Ollie's a PE teacher. Jose Mourinho, listen to him, blah, blah, hyping up. And I was like, but I remember times when Jose Mourinho was at Manchester United where he'd be up and he'd sort of not kill off the game and want to hold on to what he had, and he'd let the team come back in. And I was like, it would not, and I told these people, it would not surprise me that despite the fact that Spurs are 3-0 up at halftime, for Spurs to somehow lose this game. And in 80 minutes, it's like a Premier League record, apparently. It's a Premier League record for a team to be up 3-0 up at 80 minutes and still to draw the game. That is a Premier League record. A brilliant strike. Brilliant strike by Lanzini, by the way. Probably goal of the season, I think. I don't think anything's going to touch this.
Early days. There's a lot of goals flying in.
It is. But just the goal and also the timing. Like, it's not the goal and the timing of it together to get that. You could see what I meant for West Ham players. So I think my first screen was apparent was just like, what basically what happened to Spurs? You know, what happened to Spurs, and will Jose Mourinho actually win a trophy with the Spurs team this season after basically what happened yesterday? So I think, just anyone just.
I personally think it's too early in the season, and it's the Premier League is just so dysfunctional that it's hard to know who's actually the favourites for promotion or relegation, because the way it's going now with the lack of fitness, the lack of prep that's got into everything, this is just kind of like pre-season mode. I think it'll take a couple more games before we realise who the best are and who aren't. I can only say I really hope. Like, I've never if I had to pick anyone, obviously outside United, for like my favourite team in the top 6, I would have said Spurs, because they were never a threat and they're always good for just fucking it up like they did the other day. And they played nice football, had nice players. But like, since they got Mourinho, I don't wish them any joy or happiness whatsoever, because I think he's I think he's an absolute scumbag, and it was doing my head in. I couldn't watch. I can't remember what I was doing, but I couldn't watch the match on Sunday. But I was getting all the updates on Twitter. People saying, 3-0 up, they're going to win the league, they've got the best 5 forwards in the world, blah, 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 blah. and just the utter joy I felt, because I was with my Spurs mates when United lost 6-1. So the utter joy I felt parading through my entire body when West Ham came back to Trial. Like, no manager deserves it more than Mourinho, and I hope it happens several more times. I think genuinely, if anyone can win a trophy with him, I suppose it is him, because he just does that no matter how bad the football is or how brick he is. He does do that. But eventually that luck's going to run out, and I think it will be now, because the one thing he always based everything on was having a strong defense, and they do not have a strong defense. You know?
It's like
I'm just going to sorry before I bring you guys in, just going to quickly just read through these comments just quickly. So just built on C. I know it's Madrid, and this weekend was garbage. We're going to get to the Real Madrid Cadiz loss. Okay, we're going to talk about the loss to Cadiz, some bakery team. And we're going to talk about that in a second. And then Suspect Dream. This is an interesting point. It might be worth briefly mentioning it. Artists, please talk about Sky charging £15 for West Brom versus Burnley. I do think it was a disgrace that in the UK, that UK youngsters are being charged on top of their Sky prescriptions and their season tickets, £15 to watch every single live game. You know, it's
they meant £15 a crap. That's what they meant.
Imagine being a Newcastle fan. Imagine being a Spurs fan paying 50. Oh my god. Do
you know? Regarding the Lanzini, what I would say is that Spurs. You know what I mean? Fergie said that it's only Tottenham lads, and like bottle job FC, right? Bottle job FC, and do you know what, guys? I'm going to be honest with you. Bottle FC, Bottom Spurs, they basically bottled it. And do you know what? Is anyone actually surprised it finished 3-3? Because if you really deep it, check it, they didn't really play that well. Okay, the first 10-15 minutes, they blew West Ham away, but okay, cool. However, Declan Rice was still getting on the ball. Bowen was still getting on the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? And we have to admit, when Bale missed that chance, I'm not going to lie, I went on Bet365 and thought, what are the odds here? Because they might actually bottle this. And lo and behold, look what happened. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Jose Mourinho is probably the only savior they have. But right now, that team is getting split like the Red Sea. I'm telling you right now. And they have bottled it. And do you know what? We're talking about vaccine for bloody Corona. Yo, Tottenham fans and Tottenham need a vaccine for being bottle jobs. That's all. It's a mentality and a disease right now that being a Spurs player, a mentality, they're losers. Guys, like, let's be honest, they're losers. Get to a final, they lost. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You're 3-0 up in the Premier League. What is going on? And you you draw to West Ham. Nah. Nah.
It's and the thing is before I go into the thing is that like every single time when you have something like this, I was seeing Spurs fans be like, you know what? Even on BBC with Mourinho, like, oh, maybe they might be title contenders. Every single time this happens, like they say, like as soon as they get a little bit of like kind of like Jose Mourinho, they could be title challengers, and it's like as soon as those words are uttered by anybody, like it just blows up in their face. Spurs aren't winning a title. They're not winning a title, like it's
Isn't it ironic that there were 6 goals and Spurs left with 1 point? As I sip my cup of tea right now, gentlemen. As I sip my tea right now.
You know, this is, I was watching this game. There were some certain things that Spurs did well that I was interested. You know, I think I feel like the result overshadows how well Harry Kane played. I feel like Harry Kane is a different player this season than he was prior. He's not more than a goal scorer, but he's also creating a lot of goals, which is very interesting. But this game was just it was interesting. So I was watching this game, and pretty much the first half, like the Spurs scored goals. But it was a weird type of domination where West Ham didn't get actually completely outplayed. It's just that Spurs went up to the other end and they just were very clinical and they was just very sharp. But I don't know what happened in that locker room during halftime. I don't know what David Moyes said or did, but these guys came out and pretty much dominated the second half. And then it was interesting because, Harry Kane hit the post when it was supposed to be 4-0, and then what was it? And then all of a sudden in the 80th minute they get a free kick, and once that goal went in, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, it was 3-1. I was like, yo, can West Ham about? Nah, I was like, they're gonna come back? No way. Then like 2 minutes later, David Sanchez such an idiotic own goal. I'm like, yo, I am like, what? That as soon as it was 3-2, I knew for almost certainty that this game was gonna end 3-3, and it just like it was like, it's just like if you're it's just like the worst it's so cruel though, to be honest. It's like playing around with Spurs fans. It's 3-0. They score up 3-1. David Sanchez scored a ridiculous own goal. It's everything's going to happen is ridiculous. Then
I don't know if Tommy Wilson. I don't know if anyone knows about expressions. Expressions of Tottenham.
Yeah.
If you go to the end,
I watched it.
It's brilliant.
He was playing. And then when Bale, Bale came. It was funny because Bale came on at 3-0 because I thought Bale was gonna do something. But then 90th minute, Bale had his moment, went through 2-3 plays, was in the box, and had one of the most brick and most awful finish I've ever seen. Completely pulled it wide.
Yeah.
And then
that's why Real Madrid lummed him out, innit? Because he can't finish his dinner. Do you know what I mean? And then 6 yards out, you can't even hit the target, mate. What?
And then that goal by Lanzini, oh my god, you couldn't even write a perfect script. That's unbelievable. And that to tie it up with that goal, and it's crazy because like as a United fan, I'm seeing 2 former United managers, and I'm like, and they produce this. You're like, what in the world? And then
Agent David Moyes.
I'm telling you, lads, if David Moyes keeps this up, he could be the next United manager.
Hey, if he was backed, you never know. You never know. You never know.
No. We know. No, he okay, no. Don't put nightmares. I'm going to bed soon. I can't see Colin back in Old Trafford.
Does anyone have anything to say about the Spurs though? Because we're going to go on to quickly talk about another, I would argue, bottle job result, specifically for the person. But Shawnee and JD, who haven't spoken, do you have something to say about the Spurs result?
Yes, I have something to say about the Spurs result. My problem is I strongly believe that you have a strong hatred for Mourinho. Yes, that's what I got from your discussion.
Hatred is a strong word, But anyway,
but nevertheless, I strongly believe that they are going to do something this season. And it's not because they are that good. It's because most of the other teams aren't that good. To be fair, you have to look at that as well. And worse off, Liverpool got all of those injuries. I just believe it's going to be down to Manchester City to stop any one of these teams in and around them. And I still believe that Manchester City have dropped a little bit, and we ourselves have injuries. So I think Jose Mourinho will shock a lot of people this season, and they are playing well. I think they're playing well because look at the same time, you're bashing them, but you're giving Lanzini so much credit of scoring a worldie. You understand me? So I think
they palmed the 6-1, man. Come on.
Okay. Sorry. It's my fault. Oh, I'm very sorry. Maybe I didn't get the sarcasm.
No. They beat us 6-1 in it. So to see them bottle it, it's karma, isn't it?
It's karma.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? But I think something that you guys didn't talk about, you see the concentration problem because of lack of funds is very much terrible, and you're going to see a lot more goals and a lot more results like this because you have to concentrate more heavily because you don't have the extra bounce, the extra wind from the funds. Remember, I played football at good enough levels to know what funds does to a game itself.
Yeah,
you get me?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Listen, bro, I agree with you, and I hear what you're saying. Obviously, I think there's no fans now, right? So what happens is that basically is literally, this might sound stupid, guys, but it's literally 11v11, and it's like if whoever can be bothered on the day to play well, majority will win. And what I'm also finding, do you guys think most of these players are sharp? And when I say sharp, I mean, if there was a proper pre-season, proper rest period, do West Ham draw 3-3 with Tottenham? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No, but keep in mind, you have phases of games. In the games, you have phases. You have the first third and the second, but you need a warm down period. Naturally, within the 75th minutes, you start to warm down. But I realized that West Ham really didn't get that memo. You get me? Because you don't have any warm down period because you don't have any fans, so you can't use that to get the mind game over them, and that's why it's going to show up a lot of big teams this season. I don't believe it's just Spurs alone. I think other big teams. Remember, I first came here and told you guys that Liverpool will struggle this season, and a lot of people on the panel laughed.
No,
a lot of the panel laughed. I explained exactly why, and I saw every single thing. Trent Alexander-Arnold, he can't defend to save his life, and you guys laughed after me. And everything that I said when Alcantara came in, it's going to take away the assists and the creative duties from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he can't defend. So that's going to be a player that is a liability in the team, and it's going to cost them because every time they are going to get extra pressed and get extra lob balls over the top. And Aston Villa did that 1 month later after I spoke. So I would say nothing else. I'm done.
We'll see. Let's quickly move on, sir, because I said we're just almost at 50 minutes in, and we've still got so much to talk about. So this is probably going to be the last Premier League topic before we get into more European football and then hopefully the Champions League. And that is this trio right here. We do talk about the fact that what Chelsea did, what Spurs did, etc. and stuff. And just seeing people know a lot of Chelsea fans. We got bantered by a lot of those fans and what have you. And Lampard and the 200 million that they spent. And you'd think that with a lineup when you can access the likes of Timo Werner and Thiago Silva and Kai Havertz and Ziyech and what have you, even having Kante in that midfield, you'd think that should be enough to be able to at least not concede, to at least see off the Southampton side. However, it's proving fairly common that KEPA and Chelsea's defence, and to a certain extent Lampard's tactics, are causing Chelsea a shell of a problem. So my question to the panel is, and I'll start with Sean because I've heard me from Sean, is that given all that Chelsea have spent, because they spent a lot, they brought in 7-8 players, I think, in one transfer window.
Yep.
Do you think that Chelsea will still be able to compete for the Champions League and go far in to compete for the Premier League and go far in the Champions League when you're still conceding 3 goals to Southampton at home? Sean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. When we brought this up, on the last podcast, that's one of the things I was saying. It's like it looks great on paper. It looks fantastic on paper. Like if you looked at that team as a FIFA team, if you had FIFA on the go. And you had that team, you'd be pretty happy with it. You'd be like, "Oh, this is a great team." But you just mentioned it there. It was 7 new players. That's a lot. it can be overwhelming. You know, if you just brought 7 lads in, just like went, okay, brilliant, here you go play. They'd just be like, what? You know, it's going to take a while. You know, it doesn't just it's not like the snap of the finger and it's and all of a sudden you've just got a Premier League winning team. The Premier League's better than that. You know, the Premier League is really difficult to win. So you know, you can't. Yeah, I still think that Lampard has built himself a good team, but it's just going to take them a while to play with each other. It's just common sense, you know. So yeah, I still don't think that they should be, you know, drawing with Southampton. But then again, I felt like Liverpool should have won against Everton. So you know, and we drew. So like, it's not like anyone's been particularly.
Bro, I think he didn't drop in that Mendy didn't play, and Thiago didn't play, and the other signings just got on the substitution, so they didn't really play.
JD though, did Thiago did KEPA play against West Brom, and was Thiago playing against West Brom?
Yes. Oh, believe me, you are the king of banter. You're just trying to make. Oh my God,
JD, he just asked you a question.
It's just a question.
Oh my God, I am just trying. Bro, but you were talking about one game, and I'm just trying to add something to it to make sure the guy that is speaking know that some players didn't really feature at all. But you want to make sure you twined everything together. Wow.
Well, they conceded 6.
But that's a good question, though. Why didn't Thiago play? Because I don't think Thiago was injured, though.
No, they said it's jet lag because he had to travel and stuff. Yeah. So remember, he's just here, and because of the coronavirus, once you leave and the unhappiness and the lot of testing and stuff, it's like a joke, you know. So we have to give the players some slack, man, because football is very hard on its own. But no, because of the virus and a lot of testing and stuff, some of these guys are going through mental pressure. Believe me, man.
Wait. I'm sorry.
Yes, go on.
Okay, my problem, and this is what infuriates me, because I'm a United fan, and let's be honest, all everybody has been talking about is Man United is in a disaster. All he's going to try to, is he going to get fired? Is Pochettino going to get his job? All that nonsense, all that stuff. Is Pogba, is Harry Maguire, is he going to be dropped? Pogba said he wanted to go to Madrid. Everybody was just talking about Man United, and how is Man United, forget about going to top 4. Are they going to make top 10? Whatever. My problem is no one talks about Lampard like that. No one
preach it, bro. Say it again, man. Say it again. 100%.
No one.
And you know why? Do you know why no one talks about him like that? Because I strongly believe that he's just going to get sacked one day if he doesn't step up the pace. Because they have a club that they just pull the plug on you instant, even though he's a legend. No, believe me.
Look, let's be honest, guys. Let's be 100% honest. The manager that the English media had put under fire and keeps repeating that, or it keeps repeating how bad he is doing. Is he going to do bad? Blah, blah, all this. How many reports has come out about Manchester United, and is a locker room divided as the players don't play for him? Or you don't hear.
But bro, you're a Manchester United. You're a Manchester United fan. Your commercial heights is way different. So they want to sell papers. That's why.
Can I elaborate on that guy's comment? Can I elaborate on that?
So acting Joe. So go on. Sorry.
But, no, actually, but you.
Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't acting Joe.
I do have something to say, but I'm gonna.
Go on, mate.
But then I get that. I get we're a big club, but let's not beat around the bush. Even relegation managers, they get under fire. People talk about it. The media wants to know who's going to get sacked first. But guess what? The media doesn't talk about Lampard. Guys, let's put it out there.
You know why?
Yeah.
You know why?
A lot of his friends are in the media. Remember, keep in mind, a lot of the ex-players, the ex-England players are in the media right now, and they are the key men in the media.
But that's what annoys me, because we have Manchester United we have Scorsese in the media, we have Keane in the media, we have Neville in the media.
Yeah, but their personality is different. Their personality is different.
So Bob, yeah, go and speak. Go on.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, which one did you say? Bob's? Yeah.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, Bob's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bob's. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm with your man there. Basically, Frank Lampard is a fraud, right? And he's so lucky right now. I'm telling you guys, he's a fraud. And I'm telling you right now, he's so lucky Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Arteta are making headlines. He's so lucky that Man United take the headlines, Chelsea, when you take the Chelsea job, there was the old saying, you don't buy a house. If you're the manager, you rent, because you've got 2 years, Listen, flipping Roman Abramovich has sacked Jose Mourinho, Di Matteo, Ancelotti. These guys won Champions Leagues and league trophies, mate. You're out here drawing against Southampton, West Brom. Listen, I'm telling you right now, he's a fraud, Listen, people might not be saying anything to the media, but you forget, Roman Abramovich loves football. Like, he's a football man. So, personally, if I'm him, he'll be like, oi, I'm giving you all this money, all this investment, and you're doing me like that. He's got football friends, Listen, my guy, Frank, is a fraud, and he's on fraud watch. And I'm telling you this right now. The media makes so much noise about Ollie this, Ollie in, Ollie out, I'm not being funny, but what has Frank done as a manager?
Nothing.
Let's say it, guys. Yeah. He couldn't even win he couldn't win the playoff final with Derby, right? You're a failure, mate. Like, let's just say how it is. The facts is there's opinion and there's facts, Now, he's been given all these players. And I'm telling you right now, he's in the kitchen with all these ingredients. My man
That's Frank ringing.
Frank's in the kitchen with all these ingredients, My man can't cook. You can have all the best players, but listen, if you don't have a system or a structure of way of playing, you can put them all out and expect them to play, But for me personally, I just don't think, some of these players like Mason Mount, they're looking up to like, oh, he's Frank Lampard, the darling of Chelsea. He done this, he done that. You're a fraud, mate. You're a manager. You've done nothing. So, in
fairness to Chelsea, Timo Werner does look good. Werner.
I know, but if you look at the goals he's scoring, and you compare the goals he scored in Germany, all the defenses play a high line.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
That's true.
They always play a high line. So if you've got pace to burn, you're on burners, you're gonna just long ball, you're in. Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe quickly add something
in the Premier League.
Wait, no, I'm going next.
Yes. Acting show, yes. Sorry, go on.
I won't say that Lampard is a fraud, but I will say he's an absolute fucking wanker. I think
the kids watching.
The kids know worse than that. Okay, I can say it again if you didn't hear it. If we go through the history of managers that Chelsea have had, no, we touched on it, but like Mourinho was out the door because he's a scumbag, okay? But if you look at Benitez, Sarri, and we could say Conte to an extent, but Sarri and Benitez were sacked before they even got the jobs. Like, no one knew they would last a year, and everyone turned on him, especially in the media. The reason Frank Lampard is getting the leeway he's getting now is, and over Solskjaer, they've had, I would say, the exact same quality of season, because we did better in the league, but they got to a cup final, but we got to more semi-finals. So I'd say we're about even if United maybe did a little bit better. But the reason Lampard is getting who he is because basically he's a nice little Tory boy. He's a nice little poster child for Boris Johnson in the Premier League, and the Premier League has never had an English manager winning the actual championship. So like they need someone to rise up, and it's not going to be who's going to do it other than him, Sean Dyche. Do you know what I mean? They need they need an English manager to win it. So that's why they are putting nothing on him. And he knows that. I know what you're saying about Abramovich and all like that. But unless there's pushing from the papers as well, nothing's going to happen to him. He's going to see the season out unless there's a huge decline. And I won't say he's a fraud because I don't think he's tested as a manager. I think he took the job too soon. I think he should have made his bones on the way up. I think he even more than Solskjaer, Lampard would have definitely got this job. Like Solskjaer is a club legend at United, but like Lampard is up there with the likes of Bobby Charlton at Chelsea.
I think to be fair, like obviously he took the job when Chelsea had a transfer ban, and I think there is.
Sorry. No,
Yeah.
I just have to interrupt. I fucking hate that. I know you're not giving us an excuse.
No,
They bought
okay.
Pulisic and they bought how do you say his name? Kovacic. Like they didn't. They had a transfer ban. They still bought 2 players, and one of them was the best player in Germany. They didn't have a transfer ban. Okay.
Yeah.
Then when the transfer ban was lifted in January, they chose not to buy it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
I'm not using it as like it's more like I don't know whether that's the reason why like they felt that in terms of managers coming in, whether some managers were like, oh, I'm not going to get as much freedom as I would I take this job? That's the reason why I'm sort of not for the excuse Chelsea's performance, but just whether managers were put off by taking the Chelsea job because they weren't going to get a backing. I don't know, maybe that's just a theory.
You see, the thing is, because the Chelsea fans are so toxic that they knew, like, let's be honest, the only reason he was put in there was because he's a manager that's up and coming. He's English, a former Chelsea player that will keep the fans happy for a season. And they'd go, we understand you can't spend money. Okay, but if there was no fans, if they knew at the beginning of the season, just say that there was no fans going to be allowed, Lampard wouldn't have got that job. Someone else wouldn't have got the job because they wouldn't be screamed and booed every single week like Benitez was, you know, and Sarri was at points as well. So, like, I think someone else would have taken the job if they knew there was no fans going to be there.
Let me just say something real quickly.
Yeah, that's it. Go on. Yeah.
Looking at the table, like I want people to understand this. Manchester United are on 6 points. Chelsea are on 8 points. Manchester United has a game in hand
Against Burnley, yeah.
Just think about it, guys. Chelsea has played one more game than us, and they are only ahead of us by 2 points. 2 points, and we got smacked by Crystal Palace and Spurs. Just imagine that. And then all he has to lose is his job to Pochettino, but Lampard can keep his job at Chelsea after spending all that money.
Right, let's quickly move on from the Premier League. So this has been a good show so far. So I want to talk about this guy. I really, really do want to talk about this guy. I know maybe not everyone watched the Milan derby over weekend, you know, but this guy at 39 years old, carrying this AC Milan team, they're top of the Serie A. I'm still not convinced they'll win it, but Zlatan brace against Conte's Inter Milan, bearing in mind the amount of money that Inter Milan have spent. Obviously, thank you, Inter Milan, for taking some of our, you know, Manchester United rejects, you know, Lukaku, Sanchez, Ashley Young. Thank you, Conte, thank you. But the fact that this guy at 39 years old, coming from the MLS, is still scoring goals and still inspiring a team, because I don't think it's a coincidence that AC Milan are where they are and have been progressing since this man has come in. I'm not saying it's all Zlatan, but he's a huge part of it. Guys, I don't know what question to ask really. Like how, there is the question, how is Zlatan Ibrahimovic still doing it in a top league? Because Serie A I still think is one of the toppest leagues in Europe. Is it that he's just a beast, he's phenomenal, or is it that Serie A is just trash? Like,
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both because, do you know, if you look at his body's physique, it's a testament. The guy looks after himself. Thank you very much. Doesn't he? You know, he looks after himself. And also, you know, when you get to a certain age, it's the mind, you know. And also, the Italian league is you know, it's not obviously what it used to be back in the 90s, you know, Golazio, Channel 4 days, don't get me wrong. However, it's slightly becoming more entertaining. And it's still, Italian football's a tactical football. Do you know what I mean? It's like chess, isn't it? And the guy, he's explosive around, when I say explosive, I don't mean he's sprinting. I mean, in between the 18-yard box, 25 yards, he comes alive. And AC Milan use him as a talisman. He's probably got better, in my opinion, as he's got older. to be honest, I think. Obviously, he, you know, when he played for us, I saw him live, guys. You know, I saw him live, and he does literally. I moaned about him. I was like, this guy doesn't run. He doesn't do anything. I'm like, what? But he scores, and I think the Italian league suits him completely. And the one thing you cannot say about this guy is that when he plays up front for anyone, he scores. You know. But Inter Milan, though, he would have loved that. 100%. You know, but I think it's testament to him though, as a person, as an individual. Pardon?
Oh no, go on. Yeah, I think it was just someone's background mic. Yeah, finish your point, Bobs.
Yeah. No, so basically, just I think it's a testament to the guy, his physical attribute. I just wish that when he was at us, all the chances Pogba put on the clip for him, he finished. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
All I'm going to say about, because I got to go, all I'm going to say about Zlatan is like, it just shows you, I feel like we just have to look at Zlatan as differently, because in my opinion, I don't think for a very long time, especially for like the last 15 to 20 years, like you have Ronaldo and Messi that are pretty much on a league of their own, and I feel like right after that is Zlatan, and it just shows you what he's doing right now, like the longevity and consistency of his class, absolute class, is phenomenal. And I feel like he's a player that a lot of young players should learn from. How to take care of your body, how to take your career seriously. Because I see a lot of talented players nowadays, and you see them like, you know, they have a breakthrough season, but then they kind of fade away after a year or two. It's just that, like, I feel like he's just an example of what being a true professional is. You know, make sure you spend money on taking care of your body.
Professional prime athlete, exactly.
Yeah.
Not just going out clubbing and doing all the rest and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Exactly. I agree with that. Exactly.
Yep. I gotta go, by the way, guys. Have a good one.
Take care. Thanks for coming on your say, man. Thanks, man.
I wanted to add something to it also, Red Devil. I strongly believe that Zlatan would have been ranked even higher, closer to Messi and Ronaldo, if he didn't have that ego. It's just because people can't stand him in high places, because the guy does deliver at all time. But the reason why I think he has been successful just the same at this age, it is his mind to fit the positions. That's one thing, but also his size. People act as if he's regular size. He's very huge.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, and remember, he has that acrobatic background as well, you know, so it gives him a massive edge over natural footballers. With a brilliant mind, a physical, imposing, but oversized body, and acrobatic ability, that gives you a massive advantage, even if you're 39. So I think people don't look at that side, and I thought that's the side that gives him the advantage. He's brilliant, man.
He's Shawnee, what's your thoughts on Zlatan?
Yeah, it's once again world class in terms of his physical ability and just like his, you know, goal scoring talent. There's nothing really much. He's one of those going to be one of those footballers that goes down in the history books. You know, he's become a legend just in football, and it's, you know, I always think there's like two types of legends. There's like the legend that stays at the club, kind of like a Steven Gerrard, you know, who kind of like makes it, everyone was after him. Steven Gerrard at one stage, for instance, when, you know, he was at the peak of his game, and everyone recognized him as being just an amazing midfielder, you know. But he remained at Liverpool, and he kind of becomes like a club legend. But Zlatan, he's been all over the show. So everyone has grown for respect for him. I mean, he's like gone into the MLS is where you go to retire. Yeah. You know, and he was back in the Premier League.
Zlatan retired the MLS. That's what he did.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
But exactly. You know, he's never won a Champions League. Do you know that?
See, this is the thing that I think everyone holds on him. It's just like, you know, Zlatan is one of the greatest players to never win the Champions League, which is actually did
he left Barcelona right before?
That's it. And then when he left, when he went to Inter, he went to Inter, and then Barcelona won it.
That's
so
it.
He was unlucky.
Did R9 win the Champions League? Someone check that. I'm not sure. Did R9 win the Champions League? Because someone shows that I don't think R9 won the Champions League.
I don't think he won it. He didn't. I don't think he won it.
He won World Cups, obviously. So that's what we know. But I don't think R9 won the Champions League either.
No, but that was because of injury.
No, he didn't.
It wasn't,
he didn't.
It wasn't because of he was bad unlucky. I thought it was because of long-standing injuries. Remember, he had that spell of almost 2 seasons.
I agree,
No,
but
he
he was in good. He was in a good Inter Milan Real Madrid team, like a Real Madrid team that had Zidane. So it wasn't like he was in a bad team. But this is an R9 versus Zlatan sort of thing. I was just bringing up the point that, like, that no one holds. Although I could say R9 did win a World Cup, but no one obviously holds R9's lack of Champions League success to diminish the fact that he was a very talented player. I think we can still agree that Zlatan is still one of the world's greatest players, despite the fact that he hasn't won a Champions League.
It's his personality, Red Devil. It's his personality, his ethos, his ego. When he came to Man United, he brought his own medical staff, his own. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's a winner. And that you can't take from him, And it's just a shame that modern day players these days.
Being honest, him not winning a Champions League won't stop him from being one of the greatest players. I honestly believe that. No,
100%.
Yeah, he has that talent and he has his stats to prove also. And keep in mind, how hard it is to say something and then go and do it.
Yeah,
bro,
every single time, over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
These guys are God, man. I start to believe it.
If he, what I would say though is that if somehow this man carries AC Milan, who basically, let's be honest, AC Milan have not been relevant for years. They've not been relevant for years.
Done out here, literally.
If he carries them to a Serie A title and stops Juventus from, I think this is if Juventus win it this season, then that's them winning it 10 years in a row.
Yep.
If Zlatan Ibrahimovic stops Juventus from winning a Serie A 10 years in a row by bringing AC Milan to that, then what words can you describe? I think that's got to be one of the greatest achievements of his career.
Believe me,
and he's got to get a Ballon d'Or for that. I would say at least
if he gets them if he gets them in top 4 with Atalanta, Lazio, Juventus, and Napoli, Roma, all of those guys I think they have equally or better squads than them. Yeah. I strongly believe he has to go down as one of the top players ever in the Serie A. Although, even though I thought that he already achieved that, but he would have gotten an extra feat now.
Yeah. I think if he was to do that, whether to get them Champions League football or just put them back into Europe, back on the map. You have to give him his flowers, man. Like literally, you got to give him his flowers, because what can you can't say anything to him. I think it'll be tough though, because I think it will depend. I don't know if they're in Europa League, but I think it'll depend on how they manage his gameplay.
Yeah.
Because obviously with COVID, the games are going at a different pace now, and it'll be interesting to see how many minutes and how many games he actually does play, and how they perform when he's not on the pitch.
What I wanted to add,
AC Milan are in the Europa League, by the way. They're actually in quite a difficult group.
Honest. But what I wanted to add, Red Devil.
Yeah,
this guy was actually in his prime with Thierry Henry, my footballer, as well,
Yeah.
That's how good this guy is. He's still relevant today, Oh my God.
That is true. Just looking at AC Milan's Europa League group, they're actually in a group with Celtic, Lille, and Sparta Prague.
Celtic.
So that in fact, we're going to that's a good segue. Actually, let's actually quickly talk before we go into Rangers, man.
Guys, I'm from Scotland, so I can tell you everything, whichever one you want to know.
Please,
ask away.
Please, because I only watched the highlights. I must confess, I didn't watch the full game. But when I saw 2-0, when I saw this Rangers team, I mean, I'll ask you, Bobs, I'll ask you, mate. Do you think, because obviously, Sean, you're obviously a Liverpool fan, and obviously you like Steven Gerrard. Do you think this is the year that Rangers somehow, some way, dethrone Celtic from the SPL? What does this state? What does it mean? So, Bob's, what's your thoughts first?
If I'm honest with you, so the last time Rangers won at Celtic Park was last year, And it was a very, convincing win. This season, Rangers have been consistent, and that's what they've lacked the last couple of seasons that Gerrard's been there. I personally think that they could do it this year because Gerrard has now got. I hate saying his name. The Rangers manager has now got a team that's consistent. There's some winners in that team. Steve Davis is a great player. I watched the game live, and to be honest, Celtic didn't have any answers for Rangers at all. Scott Brown, who's normally prolific in these games, who's normally a big vocal point, was silenced by Glenn Kamara. I think Rangers are making the right noises, and if they stay consistent, it's okay beating Celtic. You need to beat the other teams, and that's where Celtic are normally consistent. So I think I hate to say it. Yeah, they're probably not because of Rangers, because of their manager. Yeah, I think they could do it this year, 100%, as long as they stay consistent. Because Celtic right now are looking for answers. And right now I don't think their coach has got them.
Fair enough. Thanks for giving a concise. I've been trying to find some Scottish province to do because I wanted to cover a bit of SPL stuff. So thank you.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, no, because I think I don't think anyone really wants to see Celtic win a league all the time. Let's just be competitive.
It's boring, man.
Boring, and so if Rangers are, as you said, are going to be serious this season, and certainly from the Europa League, because we do talk about the Europa League quite a few times, and I think the Rangers did. I thought they were more impressive in the Europa League than Celtic, to be honest. So I think certainly when the Europa League sort of starts, I think we'll definitely be covering Rangers and Celtic in the Europa League as well. Shawnee, what are your thoughts on your legend that is Steven Gerrard and Rangers and how they can do this season?
I feel like that I should know more, but I don't really. I haven't really. So they're top right now, Rangers.
Yeah,
aren't they?
They're top. Yeah, they've not lost the game. They've not lost the game. Not lost the game.
Wow. Okay, so they're following in Liverpool's footsteps from last season.
Of course they are.
I don't know. Good on him. I guess it's going to be. He is a really passionate, lad, and I can imagine that rubs off on the players. So yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, it must be exciting for Scottish football to have a rival, a challenger in the league right now. So that's so it must just be really exciting.
It makes it interesting because Celtic obviously just been running away with the league. I mean, 9 years. Do you know what I mean? Well, I say 9 years, but I'll say this: the last one they were just awarded has to have an asterisk on it because they didn't finish the season; they were just awarded the league title.
Right.
So obviously this season's quite feisty. So from the recent results, Rangers have took the first few games, and you have to admit, most of the times these games Celtic normally dominate, but Rangers came back. And the difference is, I hate to say his name, but he's a winner, and he's a leader, and you're now starting to see his personality imprinted on the Rangers players. I think with this Celtic players, I think they were just expecting to win because they have before. And now I think now we'll see a good season because Celtic now know they have to buckle up. So yeah, man, it's going to be interesting, 100%. And it's a good advert for Scottish football because
exactly.
Scotland have struggled when Rangers weren't in the SPL. So now they're back and now they're competing, and it looks like they're going to be challenging. So long may it continue.
Yeah, a competitive CPL is very good for Scottish football, definitely, I think. So, and it looks like Scotland I think they're close to on their way to qualifying for the Euros. Which
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Don't say it. No one says it. We're just, we're patiently waiting. We're going to watch. And yes.
And just want to add,
I'm not even saying
stadiums. Is it empty stadiums just the same?
Yes.
In Scotland.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
The same. Yeah.
okay. Well, that's perfect.
In what sense, JD? Do you mean in the
because the concentration problem that I'm telling you, it's kind of more equal now. Just the same.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's fair enough. Bayazid says the score prediction. Yep, we're gonna go to Champions League talk in literally a second. We're rounding things up, but just before we go into Champions League predictions, I just want to quickly just talk about this because if I'm honest, I never. And this is no disrespect. This is literally no disrespect at all. Oh, sorry, wrong image. This is no disrespect to Cadiz. I think that's how you pronounce it. Cadiz. I actually
Cadiz,
thought it was Cadiz. Is that yes? Yeah. I actually thought it was. Let me get if I got the right. Yes, this is it. Yeah. I actually thought it was a pastry. I'm gonna lie. I generally thought that. And I was like, "What's going on? This is like this is just playing a pastry or something." And I was just because pastries were coming up and. Apparently they've just been promoted from obviously Spanish Liga B. They're a decent team, so that they have been in the league before. Real Madrid were playing at home. I'm not really sure where to start with this, really, other than obviously it's a big upset. I don't think anyone really spoke about it. I mean, Juventus also drew I think, with a team called, I think it's Crudone, I think. And even Barcelona, to be fair, lost in the Liga again to Getafe. But obviously this one I think was the big shock result because you don't expect, to make matters worse, I think Sergio Ramos is also out injured. So I guess my question here is, what do people actually expect from Real Madrid? And we're going to transition, so I'll actually talk about the league and then we'll go into the Champions League. But do you guys think that Real Madrid are going to be able to defend their La Liga this season if you're getting beaten by pastries? No disrespect there, so go on.
At the start of the season, I said I still believe even with the trouble. Here I said it. Even with the trouble of Barcelona, I strongly believe that Barcelona will win it over Real Madrid. I didn't believe that Real Madrid were that dominant last season. Keep in mind, the last 7 games were all last-minute decisions, or within the last 15 minutes, decisions from penalty or free kicks in and around, and people used to call them like a VAR type of thing. So really and truly, it was kind of assisted in a sort of way. So I know that coming next season, it's going to be more of a level playing field. They're trying to use Benzema as a false 9 type of system, and he's just not cutting it because he doesn't have enough legs. You remember, he's older. So sometimes he can't keep up with the pressure. I think Jovic or whatever his name is should have been firing by now, and maybe it would have took the pressure off him. And because of that, they kind of lack in depth in the striker department. So if they can't get any goals from there, they have to rely on 2 kids on the wings. And that's why if it goes bad, you can't get experience to pull you over the line in the late games. And that's the problem in a nutshell.
Fair enough.
I think JD, you make a good point. Yeah, you do make a good point. However, I'm a Magista, man. They're my team, so bro, I need to stand up for them now. Hala Madrid. ¿Cómo estás, señor? So basically, I hear what you're saying, right? However, Real Madrid recently over the years are known to do these kind of things. They lose to these kind of teams.
True.
And I think it's an arrogance, personally. I think when they see these kind of pastries or meatballs or whatever, donuts or whatever you want to call them, I think it's just an arrogance to think that they'll beat them automatically. There's no effort needed. I personally do know that La Liga right now, is going to be hot because Atletico Madrid are making noise. They're building up momentum.
True.
So it did go under the radar this week, but I don't think it went under the radar because Barcelona lost as well. So I think from a competitive point of view, Barcelona and Madrid remain the same. However, it is interesting to know that I think personally that they're known to make these little hiccups 100%. When I saw it, I thought, yeah, I can believe that. But this season's going to be a different season because you need to remember Messi's at Barcelona. He wanted to leave. Koeman, is he going to succeed? And then you've got Zidane. I need to remember majority of the time when Real Madrid, come to win a trophy, he doesn't really fail, to be fair to him. So, JD, I hear you, man, but nah, bro, we'll be good. Madrid will be good, man. We'll be good.
Yeah, but what about the system that they are using, and they are heavily reliant on Benzema? What are your thoughts on that? That's what I was trying to say.
I think the system they use at the moment is, do you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I think there's a bit of still maneuvement from the board where Jovetic hasn't worked, and people say that Zidane's this, he's a nice guy, but Zidane's very ruthless. He's very ruthless.
That's true.
He's he if he doesn't like you, he'll tell you he's not playing you. I mean, prime example, Gareth Bale. Yeah. But if you look at all the other players that haven't really been kicking a ball, it's like, yeah, if you don't fit into his plans, you're not playing. I think right now, COVID messed up their transfer plans, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I think because, rumour has it that Pogba and Van de Beek was going already. That was certified, that was 30, and it changed. And then I think it altered his plans on way of playing. So I think what he's doing with the players he has, and like you said, Benzema's aging now, and the players he have, he's probably going with the best tactic to suit these players. Which, we always criticize managers saying they shouldn't play this tactic. Look at the players they have. Now, if you look at the players they have, they're not really flamboyant anymore. This Real Madrid times, this team compared to the old Real Madrid, there's no flair, there's no panache, there's no, wow, now it's just industrial, hardworking players that are playing narrow, and you hope that Benzema can have a bit of magic. So, yeah, man. But I still say Hala Madrid, JD, so don't you worry, bro.
No, fair enough. I'm just giving my side to it because I do watch it a lot. Maybe I don't cover the games, but I do watch it a lot because I like to watch a big game, the big teams, because I can now look how far I think both teams can go. It's possible Real Madrid still can win the league. But I don't believe when they come up against certain teams in the Champions League, they can really cut it, because I strongly believe that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Benzema is very good, and he still has his mind, and we know how good he is. But I just don't believe he's going to cut it against some of the more elite team. If they buck Bayern Munich, oh God, I give them 35 minutes before their legs have been wasted. Because these guys try to push you physically.
Sorry, just to move on. I just want to quickly get Sean and just the last three thoughts. What's your thoughts on before we transition into Champions League preview? And what are your thoughts on Real Madrid's chances?
Yep, I'll probably have to go shortly after this.
Okay,
that'd be cool. But yeah, it's early doors. I still, it's kind of like there's a lot of Premier League teams that haven't had a great start, and Madrid have kind of struggled a little bit as well. But I can't see them being like that for the whole season. I think it is going to be a weird season anyway. So I think once people have gotten used to it, and the players are happier to know that they understand that each individual time they're always going to go to. And there's just going to be them inside on the football pitch and no one else, So it's I think in the end, just like it, I don't think they're going to struggle like they are. Like, I mean, okay, fair enough. They got beat by whatever the name is. What did he say? There's two different people say different things. Is it Cadiz or
Cadiz, I think.
Okay,
Cadiz,
yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah,
without the accent.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think it's one of them things that like every once in a while you have like that odd game, and I'm sure Real Madrid will come good. shouldn't be a worry for them. I can't see it being that good. They'll be at least challenging for the title. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Let's drop Real Madrid to one side and let's get to the.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to head up now,
no.
just before you guys go.
No problem.
But yeah, have a good night, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Take care,
mate. Take
care. Be safe.
Okay. Jeez, we have certainly covered a lot of topics, and we're getting to, which is basically the Champions League fixtures, which is, I think, is the meat of what we're going to be quite a bit what we're going to be talking about. So, but rather than go through every single Champions League game, because there's just obviously so much, I thought it'd just be a good idea to just pick out some of the key games, obviously tomorrow and on Wednesday. So the first one that obviously comes up, and obviously I hope everyone can see this sort of screen share. Actually, go back on just a few comments actually. So yeah, so Baz Ali said score for the PSG. Yeah, we'll talk about that. And then there was another one. Hallam just also, I'm late. Hope Bayern smash Atletico. We'll see about that. And then Naveen said no Maguire, no Bailly. Who will start in defense against PSG? We'll talk about that just briefly. Although I did do a preview on my channel, so check that out. It should be on there where I gave you my starting 11. I actually think that he might go with Twansibi potentially because he is fit. But yeah, moving on to his key games. Obviously, the big, I would say, standout games here, because I think Barcelona will win their game. Let's talk Chelsea-Sevilla first. Chelsea at home at Stamford Bridge to Sevilla. Sevilla win the same group last year, if I recall. Actually, I think.
Sevilla. Sevilla and Ajax.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, hang on. No, I'm wrong. Because Sevilla won the Europa League, so they couldn't. Who did?
They were in the same group with Sevilla and Ajax, I think.
So
yes,
they were. So Sevilla finished third then.
Or either it's Valencia. If it's not Sevilla, it's Valencia. One of those.
Sorry,
I think it's Valencia. It's Valencia. It's Valencia.
You're
it's
right,
Valencia.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah. So anyway, how do you guys see this go? How do you guys see this going? Do you think Chelsea will do it at Stamford Bridge or no?
JD, I'll let you go first, man.
I'm not really confident in Chelsea winning this game, because the last time I saw Sevilla up against Bayern Munich, they actually fitted a system to slow down the wingers. And if it weren't for the super experience from Bayern Munich and also luck and quality from Naya, they wouldn't get anything from that game. It would have been a 3-0 win for Sevilla. So to be fair, this team is a sneakingly good team. And with Chelsea not in any shape and form of any sorts of form, I think this is a perfect opportunity for Sevilla to play them and actually get something out of it. So I'm going for a Sevilla 2-1 win.
What was your thought?
Okay. I think, JD, I agree with you. I think that Frank Lampard hasn't got the tactical nous for European footballers yet. We saw what Sevilla done to us. The two centre-backs, Zuma, for some reason, Zuma, Christensen.
One of them.
They're just basically bad things waiting to happen, basically. They're calamity, they're jokers. I think Sevilla will probably dominate possession, and I can see Sevilla probably winning by 1 or 2 goals, actually, if I'm honest. Chelsea may score, but I don't think it'll be... Chelsea may get like a draw, but I don't think Chelsea win. I don't think so. I say Sevilla 3-1, because I think they're going to dominate the ball.
Fair enough. And shout out to Telber and Jira, as well as Team Tagatu in the comments. Really appreciate it. If KEPA will play, easy Sevilla win. I hope Fenerbahce will win against Barcelona. Somehow I doubt it. And Frank should give Mendy a chance. Well, I think the issue with Mendy was that he's injured, because he got injured.
Yeah, he's injured.
So I think that's my problem. So if he's injured, it's going to be between KEPA and him. And Caballero. Sorry.
I think he starts Caballero. Do you know that?
That's why. I mean,
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. You can't go with KEPA anymore.
What I suspect is that he's not going to play both of them in the league and the Champions League. So one of them is going to play Champions League. So I suspect it will be Caballero in the CL and KEPA in the Premier League.
I think Kepa's done. Do you know that? I don't think Kepa plays another game for Chelsea.
I think he's done mentally. Honestly, he's done himself. Not them taking him out the team. I think he's done himself.
Yeah, and we've got to go back on the manager for that one because do you know in Scotland there's like a culture, and I say British football, like if he's going through a bad time, just play him, he'll get through it. Sometimes, we need to remember that some players aren't built like Roy Keane, aren't built like Patrick Vieira. Do you know, like mentally, some of these players can't handle it. And I think Kepa has probably realised he's struggling. Now, you could talk about London, the city, England, the country, the language barrier, but he's not performing, you know. So I think Lampard needs to take him out, you know. So I think, I think he's getting dropped tomorrow, and I think Caballero starts, which they'll probably get beat anyway. So furthermore adds to my prediction.
Teams going to just remember, pundits called David Luiz, Mustafi, and coach for Arsenal have second best defensive record under Arteta. Frank spent 200 million to concede goals to West Brom and Southampton. LOL. I hear that. Team Takage. Right, let's move on from Chelsea. This is the one. Obviously, I did my preview on the channel. Make sure you have the video, like it. So I showed you what my team is. So your thoughts, but it's Paris Saint-Germain versus Manchester United. The last time PSG played Manchester United, last time United played PSG in Paris, we all know
it was a referee decision. Yeah,
you know, it was a referee decision.
Won it.
That's what JD said.
Listen, the rules are the rules, JD. Listen, rules are rules.
I just want to wind up Red Devil.
I mean, even if the referee they were losing the game 2-1, you know, so that's an important factor. They were losing the game on the night. But obviously Neymar was not there, and Neymar is gonna be here. And unlike PSG, I think the only person I know that's out for PSG is Verratti. I don't think Verratti is fit. But everyone else from PSG should be there. Obviously, Thiago Silva is no longer at the club, obviously. But in the case of Manchester United, no Harry Maguire, no Greenwood, no Eric Bailly, no Lingard. I think a lot of people wondering what type of system United are going to play against PSG. Obviously, Bob is a United fan. How do you think that Solskjaer will line up? And do you think we'll be able to get something from this PSG game?
I think, if I'm honest with you, I actually think we've got a chance of winning. And the reason why I say that is because, and I'm not being deluded here, guys. I'm thinking about the way the game will go. We won't have possession because we're not a possession-based team, right? We're a counter-attacking team. My only hope is that this might sound really, really extreme, guys. I don't think finishing-wise, PSG haven't been clinical. I say that, well, okay, they've won their last 5 games in the Ligue 1. But we
don't even have to talk about that. We can just skip that.
So my point is that I think the way we'll play, I think we'll either play the back 3 or the back 5. I think you will probably see Fred or McTominay, if not both. One of them will play to do that robust just screening for the back 3. I think. I don't know. I'm sure I saw Tanzwebi in the squad.
Tanzwebi is fit. Yes, he's fit.
Yes, exactly. But I don't understand that if he's not played, do you really want to put him up against Mbappe and Neymar?
Well, this is an interesting thing, and I was having a conversation on my chat. Is that you know, is it Tanzwebi hasn't played a game of football for 18 months?
And
then you throw him out. And personally, for me, if we're going to play 3 at the back or 5 at the back, etc., I think Luke Shaw will be the left-sided centre back. I think that's straightforward. So you can bring in Tellez, who I think is fine. He's been playing. Lindelof will be at the centre back, and to be honest, as you maybe have to play Fosu Mensah, because Fosu Mensah is in the squad. So because at least Fosu Mensah has played some football. You know, I'm not saying he's great, but he's played football. And then, you know, and then Wan-Bissaka can be the right, because we don't have any right fullbacks aside from him, really. You know, so unless
you know what, actually, I think you're right, and I think it's going to be. I think it'll probably be Wan-Bissaka, their wing back, Mensah, Lindelof, Luke Shaw, Telles. And what happens is that Telles is obviously an attacking fullback. So if he goes, I can imagine everyone would just shuffle along. So it becomes a back four. Bruno obviously plays. Rashford is obviously playing. And I think Martial's definitely playing.
Yes, he'll be playing, yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see if Mata plays. And the reason I say that is because when Mata plays with the better players, we retain possession a lot more better. You know? So I think I'm going with 2-1, guys. 2-1. 2-1. I honestly think Ollie will get a result. 100%.
Okay.
JD?
Okay. JD, what's your score prediction, JD? And then we'll quickly move on to some other tasty games here.
Okay, well, no problem. Let me go very fast. I think Paris Saint-Germain will win this one 3-1. United will play good enough, but because of the defensive issues they have, and they are going to get stretched, because keep in mind, these guys stretch the field wide because they want to isolate players. And the one thing United has this season is concentration problem. If you draw that back line wide and individual thinkers has to think, it's really bad. Believe me, that's what I didn't want. I didn't want them to win a game going into this one. I wanted them to actually go from the 6-1 result straight into the Paris game, because that's where you wouldn't have to sway things. But because they got this result, maybe the feel-good factor came back too fast and they believe that they're in it. But I saw a lot of gaps against a very poor Newcastle team. But nevertheless, I want to see them do good, because I want them to challenge and I want to feel much good when City defeat them. You understand me? So...
Well, we're going to see what happens with that. Let's quickly move on, because I'm not really going to touch on RB Leipzig, just because we're running a bit out of time, and Shakhtar. What I will go is what I will touch on quickly is obviously, JD, you're a Man City supporter. So Man City versus Porto, we know obviously that Sheikh Mansour bribes UEFA and then some to get you your nice groups. You always seem to have nice groups. I don't know why. You know, it just is what it is. But Porto are probably, I would suspect, the closest challengers to you in Group B. Do you see this as an easy win for Manchester City? Ooh, is he gone?
Is he gone? I think he's gone.
Just disappeared. Maybe I cussed him. Sorry, JD. Okay. Well, if you're coming back, let me know. I'm going to ask you. I'll take it as like Man City are going to basically win the game. So let me quickly move on. Let's come back on. They will. They should at home against Porto. You'd expect it to. Your thoughts just quickly on Ajax, Liverpool, and Bayern, Atletico Madrid. Bob, what's your thoughts?
I think that's a foregone conclusion. I think Liverpool beat Ajax. I
without
still
Van
young
Dijk?
boys.
Away without Van Dijk away.
I think Mane, Salah, Firmino movement will be enough to kill that game. I won't be surprised if they blitzed them within the first half an hour, if I'm honest. And sorry, what was the other game you asked?
So I guess what would be the second big game? Well, the big game on Wednesday, I would say. So the big game. Oh, there's hey, JD. Oh,
he's gone
again. Jeez, what's going on, JD? Okay, boss. So Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, which is probably the big game on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think Bayern Munich beat them anyway. I think Bayern Munich are the best team in Europe. There's no one right now. You know, you've got Suarez.
Right, the internet is back now.
Yep, we're back.
I think we're back. Yeah. I think Bayern Munich beat them. I think I can see the first 20 minutes being cagey and so on, but as soon as Bayern score one, yeah, I don't really see Atletico coming out to attack. I can see Atletico trying to get a draw, but that would probably be the worst thing. So no, because I mean, this Bayern team, you know, they can dominate possession, they can fight, they can get physical, they can play football, you know. So, and also, you know, they're the best team in Europe at the moment. So yeah, I think Bayern beat them. I want to say 2-0. 2-0.
Which one is that? Bayern Atletico.
We're talking about Atletico, but you can give your 2 cents, JD, about Manchester City Porto. I assume you expect City to beat Porto comfortably.
Nope. Because as you know, I said at the start of the show that most of the teams are in transition periods. So I think City in that transition phase, where in which they are trying to either left out the left back position and go with 3 at the back, because Mendy seems to just always be on Twitter rather than playing football. So they have to find a way out to fix that problem. So I thought that the back 3 with Walker in it is the way to go for now until they can sort out the left back position. So I think it's a transition period. We just got back Sergio Aguero. We don't have KDB. Keep in mind, those things are happening.
True.
We have a lot of injuries just the same. But people ain't talking about it because the problem with City is just, it doesn't matter what you have. They just don't care. People don't really care that much. Like, Liverpool lost Van Dijk and everyone talking about. KDB, they said he's the best player in the league. He ain't playing, but no one talk about it. You understand? So, yes, we are going into the game with all of those problems. So, I think it's going to be very much closer than what most individuals said. And keep in mind, I always take in account that you're playing without fans. You're just playing against 11 players, and that's it. So it's not as easy as what people think. So I think we will pull off the win, but it's not going to be a cut and dry. I think it's going to be like a 2-1. It's not going to be any 5-1 unless the next team decided that they're going to come out and try and get the win, and then we can pick them off because we have the passing ability still in our ranks, but only if teams come and attack us. We can't dominate teams anymore until the strikers them and KDB returns.
I agree. That's fair enough. Jira in the chat, who's time member, says, "Is it me? But I think City may feel some sort of bromance when it comes to certain groups." Yeah, I don't think that's you. I think that's just facts at this point. Bayern can also lose 4-1 to Hoffenheim. So that's in regard to Atletico Madrid. Bayern did lose 4-1 to Hoffenheim, which I think was a bit of a shock result. And as we've said throughout this whole chat, this European football this season is going to be very, very weird because of what's going on around the world. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see shock results like that. I think almost every big club around Europe has had a shock. PSG, I think, lost the first 1 or 2 games of the season. Obviously, you saw, Cadiz with Real Madrid. Barca have lost. Bayern obviously lost to Hoffenheim. But I think that I would expect that by the time we get towards the end of the season, normal service would have resumed. And you'll get a bit more stability with the reality of the depth of squad and what have you being, I think, probably the most important factor in terms of success, given how many games being played. So just finally, obviously, I think JD, you mentioned your point about Bayern Munich versus Atletico Madrid. Who do you see winning this game?
I saw it as a close game, to be fair, because as you know, anything involves Atletico, they seem to just don't want any ball going inside the goal, and it's football. We think we should score in order to make the game more entertaining.
Well, Luis Suarez,
Yes, but keep in mind they are playing teams in the Spanish league, La Liga. No disrespect to La Liga, but beside a few teams, like 4 teams, they can set up anyway expansive and get results. But once it's big games, Simeone tend to set up defensive minded and then pushes strikers wide. He will start with 2 strikers to make it look like he's doing attacking business, but they are going to be outside wingers, to be fair, and coming in with their scoring ability. That's just like back 10. That's not good football. But anyway, I think it will work against Bayern, and they will actually put Bayern under some surprising pressure, because Bayern will come out and try play a Liverpool type high pressing game, which obviously they are much more intelligent at doing it. So they are going to be much more deadly, and that's why I would put them as the favorites to win it. And I would say they will get a 2-1 win, but it would be closer than what most would think.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. It's been just under 2 hours. I'm not sure how we've been able to cover so much stuff in less than 2 hours, but I've enjoyed it. It's been a great show, talking about everything from Chelsea flopping to to Spurs flopping to Zlatan to the Champions League. It's been great. Bantering aside, very, very good show. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on, Bobs and JD and everyone else that was on as well. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Red. Yeah, 100%, man. Seriously, a great experience. Hopefully I can come on again, man. I really enjoyed that. 100%.
You absolutely can. Like I said, we'll continue with these great discussions, and hopefully things will grow. So thanks everyone who's watching as well. Remember to like the vid and share and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter United X and smash the notification button for latest Manchester United news. Have a nice day, everyone. And